Let me hit you with a brutal truth. Women don't fall for the men who give them everything. They don't become obsessed with a guy who's always available, always complimenting, always bending over backwards. They become obsessed with a man they can't fully figure out. The man whose presence stirs something in her chest she can't quite name, something between excitement and danger. And here's the kicker, it's not her choice. It's her psychology, her biology, her wiring. And if you don't understand it, you'll waste your life chasing women who don't even want to be caught. But if you do, if you master these hidden triggers, you'll flip the script. You'll stop chasing, and you'll become the man women chase, even the ones who swore they would never fall for a man like you. Today, I'm giving you 10 psychological tricks women can't resist, even if they try. And the moment you understand them, you'll realize why some men are forgotten, and why others live in women's minds rent-free for years. Now, let's get something straight before we begin. These aren't pickup lines. They aren't cheap tactics. They're rooted in evolutionary psychology and in the wisdom of men who lived long before us. Women are complex, yes, but they are also patterned. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. You'll notice it in their eyes, in their body language, in the way they test you, in the way they pull away just to see if you'll chase. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's what these 10 tricks are really about. They're not about controlling women. They're about controlling yourself, your presence, your frame, your discipline. Because when you master yourself, women feel it instantly. And that's what makes these principles irresistible. Not the words, not the gestures, the man behind them. So let's dive into the first psychological trigger, the one that separates boys from men every single time. Point 1. The power of indifference. Here's the first truth. Women are not obsessed with the men who need them. They're obsessed with the men who don't. Indifference is intoxicating. It makes her stomach twist because it signals something most men don't have: options. A man who doesn't chase, a man who isn't fazed by her beauty, her mood swings, her tests, that man is dangerous. Why? Because he's scarce. And scarcity creates value. Tom, 48, learned this the hard way. After his divorce, he jumped back into dating younger women, and he did what he thought would win them over. Constant texts, endless compliments, being the nice guy. And every time, he got ghosted. Until one night, he met a woman at a bar. He liked her, but this time he didn't overinvest. He laughed, he walked away to talk to friends. He didn't send her 3 messages the next morning. And for the first time, she chased him. Why? Because his indifference created tension. She felt she had something to prove. Psychologically, indifference taps into a woman's fear of loss. If she thinks you're already hers, she relaxes. But if she feels like she could lose you, her brain kicks into overdrive. Suddenly, she's invested. Suddenly, you're valuable. Epictetus put it perfectly. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Women are outside of your control. Their moods, their attention, their attraction. You cannot hold them by force. But when you stop needing to, that's when they can't resist you. The takeaway: stop proving yourself to women. Stop begging for approval. Be the man who doesn't need her, and you'll be the man she can't stop chasing. Point 2. The silent pause. Here's something most men never understand. Silence is not weakness. It's a weapon. Women are so used to men scrambling to impress them, filling every second with words, jokes, compliments, explanations. But when you can sit in silence, when you can hold her gaze without flinching, when you can let a question hang without rushing to answer, you create tension she can't escape. And that tension is addictive. Take Mark, 52. He went on a date with a younger woman who had a sharp tongue. She tested him all night with little jabs. Most men would have defended themselves, laughed nervously, or tried to win her over with words. Mark didn't. He just smiled, leaned back, and let silence do the work. She squirmed. She tried harder. And by the end of the night, she was leaning into him, desperate to break the silence he wore like armor. Psychologically, this works because women crave polarity. They are emotional, expressive, chaotic by nature. When you meet that with the same energy, Talking endlessly, over-explaining, you cancel yourself out. But when you respond with calm silence, you create contrast. And in that contrast, she feels your gravity. It's the same reason a still lake reflects the sky more clearly than a stormy one. Marcus Aurelius said, "Be like the rock against which the waves crash. It stands firm, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That's what silence is. It's the rock. She can throw her words, her tests, her noise, but you remain still. And the stillness makes her respect you. So here's the shift. Stop fearing silence. Stop rushing to fill every pause with validation. Let the silence breathe. Hold her eyes. Let her lean into you. Because when you can wield silence like a blade, you'll cut through her defenses faster than 1,000 words ever could. Point 3. The push-pull dynamic. Most men destroy attraction because they don't understand rhythm. They either give too much comfort, chasing, praising, clinging, or they pull away completely and come off cold, arrogant, or unavailable. The secret isn't in choosing one or the other. It's in the dance. It's push and pull. It's giving just enough warmth to spark desire, then stepping back to make her chase it. Attraction lives in that tension, not in constant approval. Think of Tom, 48, divorced and hesitant to re-enter the dating scene. He thought being overly nice was the key to winning younger women. Endless compliments, constant texting, bending his schedule for her. What happened? She lost interest in weeks. Why? Because he gave her no challenge. Now compare that to Alex, 50, who knows the art of push-pull. He'll lean in, whisper something bold that makes her blush, then lean back and change the subject as if it never mattered. She laughs, she pouts, she chases. She can't help it, because he keeps her guessing. Psychologically, women crave uncertainty. Evolution wired them to test for strength. If you're predictable, always available, always sweet, you show no strength. If you're completely distant, you show no warmth. But when you balance both, you become the storm and the shelter. You become magnetic. Seneca once wrote, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." When you control your impulses to overgive or over-withdraw, you demonstrate that power. You're not reacting to her, she's reacting to you. That's the masculine frame. Here's the mindset shift. Attraction is not built on constant comfort. It's built on controlled tension. Give her a taste, then make her earn more. Smile at her, then turn your attention elsewhere. Show her she's wanted, then remind her she's not the center of your world. That balance will make her restless for you, even when she swears she won't be. Point 4. The power of mystery. Most men talk themselves out of attraction. They mistake connection for overexposure. They think if they reveal every detail of their past, every insecurity, every plan, the woman will trust them more. Wrong. That's not attraction, that's therapy. And women don't want to be your therapist. What women chase is the man she can't fully read. The man who leaves her with questions when the night ends. The man whose silence feels heavier than another man's endless chatter. Take Daniel, 52. After years of dating, he thought honesty meant laying out his whole life on the first date. Divorce story, job struggles, medical history, you name it, he dumped it on the table. And what happened? The younger women he wanted to impress politely smiled, nodded, and never called back. Why? Because he killed the mystery. Now look at Marcus, 55. When she asked, "Why are you single?" he just smirked and said, "Not everyone can handle me." Then he changed the subject. She laughed, leaned in, and weeks later she was still asking questions, still trying to peel back his layers. He didn't reveal too much, and that drove her wild. Psychologically, women are drawn to curiosity. Curiosity is tension. If she knows everything about you in the first hour, there's nothing left to chase. But if you give her pieces, if you leave a gap in the story, her mind will obsess over filling it. The mystery makes you unforgettable. Epictetus said, "If you wish to be loved, love virtue." Mystery is a form of virtue. It's the discipline of not giving yourself away too easily. It shows you're a man who values his inner world, who doesn't need validation by oversharing. And that restraint, that's irresistible. Here's the mindset shift. Stop trying to prove yourself. Stop dumping your resume, your traumas, your secrets. Instead, Let her earn your story over time. Give her just enough to spark curiosity, then change the subject. When she feels like she's constantly uncovering new layers, she'll never stop chasing. Point 5. The subtle dominance of words. Most men don't realize this. Women don't fall for the words themselves, they fall for the weight behind them. Any guy can say, "You look beautiful." But when those words come from a man who carries himself like he doesn't hand out compliments like candy, it lands differently. It's not just flattery, it's dominance wrapped in restraint. The truth. Women can't resist a man whose words carry authority, because words reveal the state of his mind. Think about Jason, 49. He was the type who overexplained everything, always trying to justify himself, always filling silence with nervous chatter. Younger women sensed it instantly. Weakness. His words were apologies, not statements. And women don't respect apologies disguised as conversations. Now contrast him with Anthony, 53. She asked him where he wanted to eat, and he didn't waffle. He said, "I know a spot. You'll like it." That's it. Firm, calm, no debate. And guess what? She followed without hesitation. His words led. Psychologically, this taps into primal programming. Women are wired to test, because they want to know if you can lead. When your words are uncertain, you fail the test. When your words are steady, commanding without arrogance, she feels it in her body before she even processes it in her mind. That's why even a casual line, delivered with calm certainty, turns into an aphrodisiac. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Your words should reflect that same principle. Don't argue, don't justify, just be. Speak like a man who has already decided who he is. Women can sense it. They can't resist it. Here's the shift. Stop explaining. Stop padding your words with qualifiers like maybe or I think. Start speaking in short, decisive sentences. Not rude, not cocky, just final. When a woman hears that kind of verbal control, it triggers her deepest instincts: trust, attraction, surrender. Point 6. The art of controlled tension. Here's what most men get wrong. They think attraction is about giving more. More compliments, more attention, more reassurance. But the truth. What pulls a woman in, especially a younger one, isn't excess. It's restraint. Controlled tension is the silent power move that separates the forgettable man from the unforgettable one. Picture this. David, 51, was on a date with a 27-year-old. She leaned in, teased him, gave him every sign she was ready for a kiss. Most men would have jumped on it immediately. But David didn't. He smiled, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and pulled back, letting the moment hang in the air like a live wire. She laughed nervously, suddenly aware of how badly she wanted him. That's tension. And once you know how to wield it, you become impossible to resist. Psychologically, tension works because it creates anticipation. Humans, especially women, are wired to crave what's just out of reach. By not giving in immediately, by letting silence, pauses, and eye contact do the heavy lifting, you amplify desire tenfold. The longer the tension, the more powerful the release. It's the same principle that makes delayed gratification the hallmark of discipline and power. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." In the same way, men waste their power by rushing. They spill it too soon, whether in words, in touch, or in attention. But the man who can delay, who can withhold just enough, owns the frame. He becomes the prize she works to win. Here's the shift. Learn to hold tension like a sword. Don't rush to fill silences. Let them burn. Don't always text back instantly. Make her wait. Don't always lean in first. Make her lean into you. The man who can hold back, who can savor the anticipation instead of needing instant gratification, controls the entire dynamic. And she will chase him for it. Point 7. The two-word trigger. Now we arrive at the point every man has been waiting for. You want to know what you can say that flips the switch in her mind, that makes her see you not as another man chasing, but as the man she wants to surrender to. It's not a pickup line, it's not cheesy, and it's not manipulative. It's a simple, devastatingly effective two-word trigger. You choose. Think about it. Most men try to impress, persuade, or beg for her decision. They load conversations with reasons, arguments, and fake confidence. But the moment you look at her with calm certainty and say, "You choose," you've shifted everything. You've made her the decision-maker while subtly radiating that you are the prize. The paradox is this: giving her the choice removes pressure, but it also forces her to confront her own desire. And women are wired to want what feels like their choice. Take Eric, 49. He was out with a 25-year-old who kept testing him, asking, "So, what are we doing next? Are you going to take me home, or should I just Uber?" Most men would panic, stumble, or push too hard. Eric just leaned back, smiled slightly, and said, "You choose." She froze for a moment, laughed, and within minutes she was the one grabbing his hand, pulling him into her car. That's the power of surrender through choice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In the same way, the quality of her desire depends upon the frame you set. By giving her freedom without neediness, you position yourself as a man who doesn't chase, who doesn't beg, who doesn't crumble under her tests. You reveal yourself as a man of abundance, a man she must earn. The mindset shift is this: never argue, never beg, never over-explain. When you feel her energy, when she's uncertain, when she's poking at you for a reaction, just smile and say, "You choose." That's it. 2 words that unleash her desire because they tell her the truth. You're not desperate, you're not dependent, you're the mountain she climbs, not the puppy at her feet. At the end of the day, everything I've said boils down to one timeless principle. Women don't fall for the man who tries hardest, they fall for the man who stands firm. The man who doesn't explain himself to win approval, who doesn't crumble under pressure, who doesn't hand over his power for a smile or a kiss. Women, especially younger women, are irresistibly drawn to a man who is rooted, who lives as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." You don't win her by trying to play her game. You win her by being the man she secretly wishes she could meet, the man who sees through her tests, who smiles in the face of her doubts, who holds his ground when she tries to pull him off balance. That's the man she desires. That's the man she respects. That's the man she will chase, even when she tells herself she shouldn't. Now, brother, it's your turn. If you felt the fire in this message, if you finally see how simple yet powerful attraction really is, then I want you to type this phrase in the comments, "I choose." Because that's what this journey is about, choosing to live as a man of power, not a man of weakness. Subscribe to the channel. Join the brotherhood of men who are done playing small, done living on their knees, and ready to step into the life women can't resist and men can't ignore. Because remember this, women chase the man who doesn't need chasing, and the world respects the man who needs nothing, but chooses everything. So let me ask you one last question. Will you stay the man who bends, or will you finally become the man she cannot forget?